Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
I'm bringing you issue 56 of Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine today. In this issue, we got another Knight of Shrouds for the Nighthaunt. This one without an ethereal steed, though. And if you want to see him in action, you can look at the chapter bars or look in the description for a time code for the battle report. But otherwise, we're going to have a quick look through the issue. First up with some background on the Daughters of Cain, which I believe we have looked at before. Originally souls who were claimed by Slaanesh but have been reborn to worship the elf god of murder, Cain. So most of them are elves, but also notice that some of them have their bodies twisted, so they have bat wings or snake-like forms, and they are very bloodthirsty and make use of blood magic. And they are led by Morathi, who I believe we've learnt about before, this sort of snake-like god. They mostly live on the realm of shadow. It does note that they are found on other realms. They are part of the forces of order, largely due to their hatred of chaos. It does note that they do want to bring order to the mortal realms, probably because Morathi just wants to be in charge instead of Sigmar. Then we have some background on the Chaos Warherds, those are beastmen, we've also seen before, I think. But this goes over the larger parts of the Warherds, the Bullghauls and the Doom Bulls, and Cygors and that sort of thing, the large Minotaur-esque creatures. It also notes that they especially hate civilization and that they will eat the bodies of the dead, not for any nourishment, just because they want to defile the corpses of non-chaos worshippers. And there's some more background on the Everspring Swath. It talks about Nurgle's invasion of the Realm of Life, demons and various mortal followers, as well as Clan Pestilence from the Skaven. Talks about the Wanderers, a group of elves who lived on the Realm of Life, who eventually left the realm, abandoning the Sylvaneth to the forces of Nurgle, which the Sylvaneth have not forgiven them for. It also mentions Behemat and his sons being awoken by the forces of chaos and forcing them from their homes. And now we have some background on the Knight Vexlor, one of the many knights of the Stormcast Eternals. And these ones carry banners into battle imbued with celestial magic. And on the next page, you have a model of a Knight of Vexlor and the equipment he has. And then we can finally get to the build guide for the Knight of Shrouds. So he's only about half a dozen pieces, and he's actually pushed together, but fairly safe to use glue just to make sure he sticks together. And the painting guide is very similar to the other Knight of Shrouds, just doesn't have a steed to ride on. Nothing you've done before, I don't think. And there you can see the finished model there. So with that little brief look over, we'll get into our battle.
So now we can get on to our game, and we've got our Warscroll for our new Knight of Shrouds on foot. As you might expect, he's pretty similar to the Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed, but he has one fewer wound, because he's not on a horse, and a movement of 6. Otherwise, his weapon is the same, and it can also give him wounds back if he slays a hero. He's ethereal and he can fly, obviously. But he has a slightly different command ability to the mounted one. This one's called Spectral Overseer. You can use it at the start of the combat phase, and for the duration of that combat phase, every Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12 of him gets +1 to hit with their melee attacks, rather than the bigger unit, which gets +1 attack as the mounted one has. And yeah, as usual on the back there's just a brief tutorial about how those work. And then we've got a little bit of fiction introducing our game. So in this little section, a group of castigators have been sent into a tomb which they believed to be unoccupied, but of course it turns out to be full of Nighthaunt, and the castigator prime resolves to sell his life dearly in the hope that his sacrifice will allow the mission to be completed. And once again, we've got our strategic overview. So at this point, the Nighthaunt have managed to acquire a large supply of Canaanite Realmstone, despite the best efforts of the Stormcast Eternals. But although they have large numbers of lesser undead, they are lacking in more powerful spirits that can go toe-to-toe with the Stormcast. So the Knights of Shrouds are leading warbands out in search of great warriors to kill, so that they can be raised again in the service of Nagash. Whereas for the Stormcast Eternals, although they've fought hard, they're only small in number and they're struggling to defend the whole of the Sigurn against the undead. So they've had to reduce their defences at places like the Ark and the Glittermine to send off emissaries trying to secure allies from elsewhere in the realm. And again, we have the map of the Sigurn here. So up in the top left there's a bit about the Nighthaunt falling upon the barrows of an ancient horse warrior people, trying to raise their dead as spectral cavalry. Up in the northeast, the Caradron overlords have come to the help of the Stormcast Eternals with their sky vessels. And then at the place known as the Kaltor, the Stormcast have gone there seeking allies, but only uncovered at the forces of Tzeentch, and so they end up having to fight them as well. And so we're on to our battle plan, Grave Tidings, in which the Stormcast Eternals must stop the Nighthaunt from trying to secure valuable grave sites at the foothills of the Patina Peaks, whereas the Nighthaunt are trying to get to the graves in order to raise more spirits to fight for them. So having a look at the battlefield, we've got the 3 boards again with 3 objectives, 1 in the centre and then 2 9 inches each away along the centre line, as you can see, and then the usual territories are 6 inches on the long edges. The armies, the Nighthaunts have basically the same as they did in the last game, except that they've replaced the Briar Queen and the Guardian of Souls with the Knight of Shrouds and the Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed, so we get to see both of them. The rest of the army is Reikenor, 5 Glaive Stalkers and 2 units of 10 Chain Rasps. Stormcast Eternals have the same 3 heroes they had in the previous game, it's Zandria Urzabolt, Lord Arcanamon Celestial Dracoline and the Lord Exorcist, and they have 5 Executors, 3 Castigators and 4 Gryph-hounds. So it notes that this takes place in the realm of metal, so we get to use those realm of battle rules again. We set up the Time-Worn Ruins, the Fallen Sigmar Statue and the Sigmarite Mausoleum, which we obviously haven't seen in a while, which is the garrisonable terrain feature. The Nighthaunt deploy a unit first, then we alternate. The Nighthaunt have a special rule that at the end of the movement phase, it doesn't say which player's movement phase, so we assume it's supposed to be both. They can choose a friendly unit that is within 3 inches of an objective, and they can return D3 slain models to the unit. But those models that are returned cannot be placed within 3 inches of enemy models. There are 5 battle rounds, and the player with the most victory points wins, or if it's a tie, that's the same. Then the Stormcast Eternals get 2 victory points for each Nighthaunt hero they slay, and the Nighthaunt get a victory point for each Stormcast Eternal unit they fully destroy. But that's it, fairly straightforward battle plan, so we'll set up the board and the armies and then get into the game. And here we are with the board set up, so I'll just quickly go over the terrain. You've obviously got the 3 objectives across the centre there, and then the Sigmarite Mausoleum is right in the middle. And on the left-hand side, we've got the Time-Worn Ruins all spread out here. And finally over in the upper right, the Fallen Sigmar head, and we roll on the terrain table for that, and we've got result 1, which is damned, which is the one that lets you do mortal wounds to a nearby unit. The reroll 1s to hit, but that's not going to come up because it's all the way over there. And the Nighthaunt had to deploy a unit first, so I'll go over their deployment first.
Yeah, so I go from left to right. I've got the 5 Glaive Race, then Reikenor, then a unit of Chain Rasps, then our new Knight of Shrouds on foot, who'll be my general, the other unit of Chain Rasps, and the Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed.
And going over the Stormcast from left to right, we've got the 4 Gryph-hounds, the Lord Arcanamon Celestial Dracoline, who'll be my general, the 5 Secretors in the middle, the Lord Exorcist and Zandria Urzabolt there, and then the 3 Castigators on the right flank. And so we'll be on to battle round 1, so rolling off to see who gets the priority. I've got a 5.
I only got a 4.
And I think I'm going to go first, so we're going to Stormcast turn 1. So again, command point in the hero phase, we'll try and cast some spells. We'll start with Zandria, she's going to try and do Spirit Storm, which needs a 7. Gets us 8.
That's not going to be in range for mortal wounds, so I think I'll let you have that.
Okay, so that goes off, not going to try and bind. The Lord Arcanum will try and cast Metamorphic Warding, which is the Realm of Battle spell for the Realm of Metal. Also needs a 7, fails with a 6. And finally we'll try and do Mystic Shield from the Lord Exorcist. Getting a 6, getting a 7.
I might as well try and unbind that. You're getting an 8, you're only getting a 6.
And we're going to put that on the Lord Arcanum, and then we'll be on to the movement phase. And then for movement, the Lord Arcanum he ran to get all the way up to the gates of the Mausoleum. That stops the Nighthaunt garrisoning it, basically, because you can't garrison a terrain feature when there's an enemy unit within 3 inches of it. The Secretors and Zandria ran a little bit as well, so follow him. The Castigators moved up normally, they'll be able to do a bit of shooting, and Lord Exorcist ran to get behind them. And finally the Gryph-hounds down here just hanging back for the moment. And I didn't say this in deployment, but the one with the moulded base, second from the right, is the Alpha. So on to the shooting phase, and 2 of the Castigators, the Prime and the one on the left, are in range of those Chain Rasps, the one on the right is not. So as usual, we'll do power to accuracy, reroll 1s to hit. The Prime hits on a 2, the other on a 3. 6s do more, but we've got 1 hit, normal, and wounds on a 3. It did.
5 plus save. Nope, dead Chain Rasp. Yeah, I'll take away this one.
But that'll be the end of my turn, no charges, so on to Nighthaunt turn 1.
So my hero phase is going to command point, and then Reikenor is going to try and cast Arcane Bolt, because he's not in range for Wraith Storm, or his Corpse Candles as well, he's not going to use one on himself. So he needs a 5. Gets it with a 6.
Also trying to unbind with Lord Arcanum, I suppose. Gets it with an 8.
Start over on the left-hand side of the board from the camera's perspective. The Chain Rasps and the Glaive Race have moved up to form a front line, and then Reikenor and the Knight of Shrouds are going to move up behind them. Just going to adjust Reikenor a little bit so he's not quite an explosion radius, hopefully. And over on the right, the other unit of Chain Rasps and the other Knight of Shrouds are going to move across as well. I'm not going to declare any charges, so that'll be the end of the turn, I think.
Yep, and the end of the battle round. So on to battle round 2, we were rolling off. I'm going to roll a 2.
I got a 3. I'm going to make the Stormcast go first, I think.
So we'll be on to Stormcast turn 2. So up to 2 command points, and then we're going to start with Zandria casting Spirit Storm again, needing a 7. That's a 9.
I will try and unbind that. Going to need a 10 though. Nope, only got 5.
So that's mortal wound to all Nighthaunt within 18.
That'll be a dead Chain Rasp over on the right, dead Chain Rasp over here, and a dead Glaive Wraith.
The Lord Arcanum will try an Arcane Bolt, needing a 5, getting a 6, and Nighthaunt can't unbind that, so that's D3 mortal wounds. I'll put that on Reikenor. 3. And the Lord Exorcist will just try Metamorphic Warding, needing a 7, getting a 6, so that fails. Then we've moved up like this. The Lord Arcanum has come out around the side of the mausoleum, heading for these guys. Behind him, the Gryph-hounds and the Secretors and Zandria have all moved up. We just moved the objective out of the way of underneath the Lord Arcanum, actually. And then the Castigators and the Lord Exorcist are just shuffled sideways, like this. And the Castigators in the shooting phase are going to shoot at the Chain Rasps on the left-hand side of the mausoleum, so these ones over here. So Prime will be in black again, rerolling 1s to hit, 6s do D3. We've got a 6, and 2 other hits. So the 6 does 1 extra hit, so just 3. Wounding on 3s, 1.
5 plus save. Made it.
And onto the charge phase, we will start with the Lord Arcanum. His roll is a 5, that'll be enough to get him in. I'm actually going to re-roll that with a command point, because I need a slightly higher number. I want to position him where I want him. A 6, well that's an inch better. But actually, yeah, I don't actually need to spend a command point for that, because of course his Dracoline Mount allows him to re-roll charge rolls anyway. It's still not quite enough, and I can't actually get with Reikenor within 3 inches to blow up any Spirit Flasks, so he's just going to go over here, and he's only within 3 inches of the Glaive Wraiths. Then the Secretors will declare a charge. They'll probably need at least a 7, maybe an 8. 5 is definitely not enough. I will spend a command point, I think. Spend a command point. 4, well that's definitely not enough, so no charge for them. The Gryph-hounds, therefore, will try and charge. They'll likewise need a fairly big number. An 8 might be enough. That's not actually enough. They needed a 9, and I'm not going to spend another command point, so that'll be it for charges. Onto the combat phase. No Spirit Flask or command abilities at the start, so just the Lord Arcanum to fight, and he's not going to pile in, he'll just fight the Glaive Wraiths. I'm going to combine both his attacks and the mounts because they're all hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, Ren doesn't matter, and doing D3 damage because he charged, so just to speed things up. Needing 3s, so we've got 5 hits, and wounding on 3s, getting 3.
4 plus saves for Glaive Wraiths. Made 2.
So only D3 damage, or 3, so I kill 3 of them at least.
So just take away all of them apart from the drummer.
But he gets to fight back.
2 attacks hitting on 4s, re-rolling because he's attacking a unit that charged. Doesn't need to re-roll, 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, getting 1.
He has 3 plus save, which he made. And then the remaining Glaive Wraiths have to take a Battle Shock test because they lost 4 this turn, and the Celestial Dracoline reduces their bravery by 1.
So anything but a 6, yay, they're fine.
But that's the end of my turn, so on to Nighthaunt turn 2.
So at the start of the hero phase I gain a command point, and then Reichenor's going to put a mortal wound on the Lord Arcanum.
With his corpse candles.
Yep, and then he's going to try and cast Wraith Storm, I suppose. So he needs a 7, but he's got +1 because he used a corpse candle. Gets it with a 10.
Yeah, I think I'll just use Zandra's Void Storm scroll to automatically unbind that, because I don't fancy trying to roll an 11, and I don't want to lose models. So, starting over here, the Glaive Wraith is going to fall back and get within 3 inches of that objective. This Chain Rasp unit is going to shift, so we can attack the Lord Arcanum. Knight of Shrouds has moved across, and Reichenor's moved across to here, next to the mausoleum. And then over here, the other unit of Chain Rasp is going to move up with the Knight of Shrouds. At the end of the movement phase, I'm going to bring back D3 Glaive Wraiths. Because they're within 3 inches of this objective, which... Oh, yeah, the objective should be there. Yeah. So yeah, they're within 3 inches of that objective. Going to bring back 3. So they have to be placed in cohesion with that model that existed, but more than 3 inches away from enemy models. So I'm going to do this unit of Chain Rasps. It's going to charge. Anything like 3, an 8 is enough. They're going to finish their charge like that. And that's actually going to be all the charges I'm going to do. The Glaive Wraiths are just going to sit there and get in the way. Right, in the combat phase I will use Spectral Overseer on the Knight of Shrouds. Chain Rasps is going to pile in round. So we can get all 9 remaining Chain Rasps engaged. Ooh. 19 attacks hitting on 3s thanks to Spectral Overseer. 14 hits. Wounding on 4s. 6. 3 plus saves. Failed 2. It was average, so he's down to 4 wounds. And then he gets his attacks back. We'll do his stick first, so 4 attacks hitting on 3s. 3 hitting 2. And wounding on 3s, getting 1. 5 plus save. Made it. And his mount. 3 attacks on 3s. They all hit. They wound on 3s. Getting 2. 5 plus saves. Made 1 failed one. So yeah, so it's only 1 damage now because he didn't charge. Yeah. This one. But that's the end of Nighthaunt turn 2 and the end of the battle round. So, on to battle round 3, and we'll be rolling off again. I've rolled a 1, which I think means the Nighthaunt get to choose.
Yeah, I got 5. So I will choose to go first.
So, on to Nighthaunt turn 3.
So, in my hero phase, I'll gain a command point, go back up to 2, and I'm going to put another mortal wound on the Lord Arcanum.
With Rykonor's corpse candles.
Yep, and we're going to try Raise Storm again. Again, getting it with an 8, so that's a 9.
Yep, thanks to corpse candles. So I'll try and unbind this, doesn't matter who with, Lord Arcanum I suppose. Nope, not with a 5.
I'm going to put it on the Lord Arcanum, so that's D3 mortal wounds to him. For 2, so he's down to 1. So over here there isn't really any movement at all apart from the Glaive Race, who are just going to move across to plug that gap so the Sequitors can't try and charge Rykonor. And over here the Chain Rasps and the Knight of Shrouds are going to move up again, and at the end of the movement phase I'm going to bring back D3 Chain Rasps in this unit. Bringing back 3, but it's only 2 dead, so they're back up to full strength. So in the charge phase, I'm going to do these Chain Rasps first.
-1 to the roll because of Spirit Storm, but
anything but a 4 would have got them in. So they'll finish their charge like that, staying 3 inches away from the Sequitors, and leaving this one Chain Rasp behind to be in range of this objective. So if I do get to bring any back, I might be able to put them over here where they're more than 3 inches away, because they still have to be in coherency. And then the Knight of Shrouds and the Ethereal Steed will charge as well. Also at -1. Ooh.
that might not be enough because of the -1 actually.
2. He's not going to reroll that. I'm going to save my command points. I'm going to use Lord of Geist on this unit of Chain Rasps. And then I will use Spectral Overseer again.
Okay, so both command points then for
Yep.
command abilities. And I'm not going to blow up any Spirit Flasks with the Lord Arcanum.
Okay, so I'm going to do this unit of Chain Rasps. So we've got 17 attacks from the 8 remaining Chain Rasps, hitting on 3s. It's going to be 10 hits. And then wounding on 4s, only getting 3.
So he has to pass all of these to live. Oh, well, he failed all of them with a 111, so he's super dead. So the Lord Arcanum dies.
I gain a victory point.
Yeah, then I'm going to get a victory point for killing a unit. Over here I'll pick the Lord Exorcist to go. He's already within 2-inch weapon range, but I think I will actually pile him in round this way slightly. So he has 4 attacks on the Chain Rasps, hitting on 3s, hitting twice, and wounding on 3s. Oh, double 1.
So I'll pick those Chain Rasps to go. They're not going to pile in at all, so we're just going to put all of our attacks on the Castigators. So we've got 28 attacks from the 9 Chain Rasps engaged, because they got Lord Geist, but these hit on 4s. So that's 15 hits, that's pretty much average. Wounding on 4s, yeah, 7.
7 4+ saves. Okay, failed 2, so that's a dead Castigator. So we'll lose this one here. And then they get to fight back against the Chain Rasps. 4 attacks hitting on 4s, getting 2. And wounding on 4s, getting nothing. That'll be the end of Nighthaunt turn 3. No battle shock test necessary, so on to Stormcast turn 3. So we gain a command point, and we'll start with Spirit Storm again from Zandria, needing a 7. Getting a 6, so nope. And we'll try and do Purifying Blast with the Lord Exorcist, needing a 5. Getting an 8.
We'll try and bind that with Rykonor. We're going to need a 9. Get it with an 11. That's going to be important.
And then for movement, the Castigators have retreated from that melee, which they're not winning. The Lord Exorcist will stay there. The Sequitors have moved across, trying to engage the Chain Rasps the Castigators were fighting. Zandria's moved up towards the Mausoleum to make sure the Nighthaunt can't garrison it, and the Gryph-hounds just shifted across a little bit.
Yeah, and then at the end of the movement phase, I'll bring back another Glaive Wraith.
Yep, because it happens in both movement phases. At the start of the shooting phase, we've got the Lord Exorcist Redemptor Casket, which will do a mortal wound on a 4+ to any enemy units within 6, so that's these 2 over here. So the Glaive Race on there's a Chain Rasp on a 4+, that's a 6, and the Knight of Shrouds on 4+, no.
Yeah, so I'll take away that one.
Then we'll go on to the charge phase. We'll start with the Sequitors. So their charge is a 10. So we'll just surround the Chain Rasps like this, and then we're going to declare a charge with the Gryph-hounds. Their charge is a 7, and they'll charge into the Glaive Wraith Stalkers like this. And at the start of the combat phase, I'm going to choose Power to Weapons with the Sequitors, but I will actually pick the Gryph-hounds to fight first. I'm actually going to spend a command point for Living Blades, which is the Realm of Battle 1, so that gives them +1 to hit because they charged. Then we've got 9 attacks, so these will be hitting on 2s because of that. So they all hit thanks to that, and then they wound on 4s. Only 4.
And it's a 4+ save for Glaive Wraiths, saving 2, so 2 die. This one that just came back, and then this one.
And then with their darting attacks rule, they'll make a 6-inch retreat move for getting to there. Then they might only have the Chain Rasps to pick.
Yeah, I'm going to pick them.
So they'll pile in like this.
Yeah, so we can get all of them in. We're going to put all our attacks on the Sequitors. 19 attacks hitting on 4s. So that's 10 hits. And wounding on 4s. Getting 4.
4 plus saves, rerolling 1s. Reroll that 1, failed 2. Yeah, failed all of them and then rerolled the 1 into a success, so we take 3 wounds. So we'll lose this Sequitur here and put a wound on that one, and then they'll attack. We'll do the Great Maces first. 7 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling misses. 6 is D3 hits, so can you roll the misses? 6. Oh, they still miss. So we've got 4 plus a D3, plus 3, so 7. And wounding on 3s, 5.
5 plus saves. Made 2, so that's 6 dead so far.
And then we've just got the normal mace hitting on 3s, rerolling. A hit. Wounding on 3s, 1.
5 plus. Made that.
So that leaves 3 remaining, and then the Lord Exorcist will go. He won't pile in, I don't think, just stay there. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, getting 2. Wounding on 3s, getting 1.
5 plus save. Nope.
D3 damage. Oh, for 3, so he kills them all.
So those chain rasps are wiped out.
But that will be the end of my turn and the end of the battle round. So into battle round 4, rolling off. 5 for the Stormcast.
5 for me, so I get to choose again, because I chose last round.
Yep.
So I will choose to go first.
So on to Nighthaunt, turn 4.
Gain a command point in my hero phase, and then use Reichenor's Corpse Candle to... I'm going to put a wound on this, the Gryphound Alpha.
Yeah, and that's because you can pick the model when you're using the Corpse Candles.
And then Reichenor will try and cast Wraith Storm again. So needs a 6 on the dice. Oh, gets a 12, so you can't unbind that.
I can't unbind that, no.
So that's D3 wounds to the Gryphounds for 2. So that will be enough to kill the Prime, the Alpha.
Yeah.
So that will cause another D3 mortal wounds for just 1.
Yep, so 2 is enough to kill this one. And then we'll put the wound on this one, so it goes down to 2.
So my movement phase, Glaive Race are going to stay where they are. These chain rasps have moved up to get near the objective. Reikenor has come across. Knight of Shrouds on foot is just going to move. So that 12 inches ends about here, so you can get any chain rasp that charge those Gryphounds in range. And the other Knight of Shrouds is going to bravely run away.
Yeah, well, he's worth 2 victory points if he stays near the Sequitors, so it probably makes sense.
It was tempting to try and kill the Castigators, but I'm just going to take the safe option. He'd probably get crushed by the Sequitors next turn anyway, so... So then at the end of the movement phase I'll bring back D3 chain rasps from this unit. Bringing back 3, but there's only 2 dead, so... In the charge phase they will charge. Anything but a very low number, that's easy enough. That'll be it for charges. I will spend a command point for Spectral Overseer. So you've got 19 attacks, because only 9 of the chain rasps can fight, including the Dreadwarden. Hitting on 3s, so that's 12 hits. And wounding on 4s, 6 wounds.
Gryphounds don't have a save, so it's just 6 wounds. So there's 2 for this one who's already wounded, another 3 on this one, let's say, and then this one here is down to 2. But then it gets to attack. Yeah, it's 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, getting 1, and wounds on a 4. Nope. And then the Gryphound will retreat to there. That's it for the combat phase. In the battle shock phase, I'm going to spend my command point to keep the Gryphound alive, because he's worth a victory point, and has a low bravery. But yeah, then we'll be on to Stormcast turn 4. So I get the command point back, going to 1. Spirit Storm from Zandria, needing a 7. Getting an 8.
We'll try and unbind that. Gonna need a 9. Nope, got an 8.
So it's more to wound to probably everything except the Knight of Shrouds on Steed. And then the Lord Exorcist to try and do metamorphic warding, because none of the heroes are within 18 inches. Well, the Knight of Shrouds on Steed is, but he's just going to keep running away, so I'm not going to kill him. Needing a 7. Oh, getting a 9. So it does go off. I'll put that on Zandria, so she gets +1 save. And in the movement phase, the Sectors are coming over this way. Zandria's going to stay roughly where she is, because he can't get much closer. And the damaged, squishier units are just going to hang back a little bit.
At the end of the movement phase, I'm going to bring back D3 Glaive Wraiths. Bring back 2. So I'm going to bring back 1 here, so that they now provide Lookout Sir to the Knight of Shrouds, and then the other one's just going to go there and plug that gap, just so nothing could charge through.
Then we're on to the shooting phase, and the 2 remaining castigators will shoot at the Knight of Shrouds on foot. So Prime hits on 2 re-rolling ones, the other one on 3s. And we've got a 6 and a hit, so the 6 does D3, 3, so 4 hits. Wounding on 3s, nothing. So then it'll be on to the charge phase. We'll start with Zandria Astubalt. She's not within an inch of the detangling terrain. So she doesn't get -2, she just needs a big number. 7, yeah, it's not going to be. I wanted to get her to the Knight of Shrouds. So she's going to squeeze through that gap there. I need to kill heroes, so we're going to have to go round the back. Then we'll do a charge with the Secretors. They roll a 3. Well, that's the minimum they need. So I won't re-roll that, I'll just send them into the chain rasps, I think. Then we'll charge with the Lord Exorcist as well. He rolls an 8. and he'll make it to there. So then on to the combat phase, at the start of which Secretors will do power to weapons. Then I'll pick the Secretors to attack with first. They'll pile in like that, and then obviously all the attacks on the chain rasps, so the one at the back can't get in. And I'll spend my command point to give them +1 to hit with Living Blade, because I really need to destroy these chain rasps. So we've got 7 attacks with the Great Maces, hitting on 2s, re-rolling. 6s do D3 hits. So re-roll 1. Well, we've got a 6 from that, so we've got 6 plus a D3. So 7 overall. Wounding on 3s. 4.
5 plus saves. Made 1, so that's 6 dead chain rasps.
Yeah, and the one with the normal mace can't get in, so that's it. So that leaves 3 left.
I'm going to pick the chain rasps to go next, just because see if they can do a tiny bit of damage before they die. So I can actually get them all in range and still have them be within 3 of the objective. So they'll attack the Secretors. 7 attacks, hitting on 4s, getting 4, and wounding on 4s, getting 4.
4 plus saves, rerolling 1s. Rerolled 1, failed 2 already. Okay, so 2 damage. So that will kill off this one and put a wound on that one on the end. I'll pick Zandra to go, she'll just pile in round slightly. She has 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, getting all 3, and wounding on 3s, getting 2.
4 plus saves, made both. So that one glaive race is just going to pile in a little bit so you can get within 2 inches of Zandria, and then they're going to attack her. So we've got 8 attacks, hitting on 4s, re-rolling because we're attacking a unit that charged. Good thing we can re-roll, that was not a good roll. After re-rolls we get 6 hits, and we wound on 3s, getting 4.
She has a 2 plus save at the moment, thanks to Metamorphic Warding, so she still takes 2 wounds though, unfortunately, double 1. And I've just got the Lord Exorcist, he'll pile in like this and hit the chain rasps. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, getting 2, wounding on 3s, getting 1.
5 plus save, made it.
But that's the end of the combat phase. The chain rasps lost 7, so they do need to take a battle shock test.
Yeah, we got 1, 2 or 3 and they're alright, they're fine.
So that's the end of Stormcast turn 4, on to the 5th and final battle round. So, rolling off the battle round 5. I've got a 3.
I got a 6, I will choose to go first.
So, on to Nighthaunt turn 5. Right.
So my hero phase, I gain a command point, and I'll use Ragnar's Corpse Candles to put a wound on Zandria, and then he will try and cast Wraith Storm. So he needs to roll a 6. He only rolls a 5, so he gets a 6 in total and does not successfully cast it. So in my movement phase, Ragnar moved away normally. He's got such a huge move, he's going to get to the board edge. The Knight of Shrouds on foot ran, and I used my command point to turn it into a 6 because he only rolled a 2. And then the Glaive Wraiths and the Chain Rasps are going to retreat, and the other Knight of Shrouds is going to run away way off into the hills.
So we didn't catch it on camera, but yeah, you're bringing back D3 Chain Rasps because they're within 3 of an objective.
Yeah, so I'll bring back 3.
So that just doubles up the wall of Chain Rasps effectively. And so then the end of the Nighthaunt turn, so on to Stormcast turn 5, and I think the game is won at this point for the Nighthaunt, because they have a victory point, the Stormcast haven't got any, and there's no way I can kill any of the Nighthaunt heroes. Zandra is in range to do Spirit Storm, which will do a mortal wound to the Knight of Shrouds on foot, but then these Castigators physically can't move far enough to get in range, and nobody can charge him either, he's too far away. Zandra, if she moved her full distance and there wasn't a wall of Glaive Wraiths in the way, would need to roll like a 12 and she could charge him, but obviously she can't because there's Glaive Wraiths in the way. And murdering the Nighthaunt lesser troops gains me nothing, so I'm just not going to bother because it's definitely going to be a Nighthaunt victory. So yeah, we'll recap that game for you now. So that was the game from issue 56 of Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms. How do you think that went?
Probably about as well as it possibly could for me. Killing one of your units early on and then winning the roll-off every time and being able to move, just run my heroes away. I don't really see how it could have gone any better apart from killing more of your units.
Yeah, that's it. If I'd killed one of your heroes, you would have had to kill another 2 of my units to potentially win, but because you won roll-off all the time, you were just able to bog me down with meaningless units.
Yeah, and just run the Knight of Shrouds and Ragnar away. The Knight of Shrouds on foot was the most at risk. But I mean, it wasn't exactly a crushing victory, I don't think. It did feel like I was on a knife edge for a while. I think winning the roll-off in turn 4 was probably the most important one, because the Knight of Shrouds on Steed was very close to the Secretors and the Lord Exorcist, and you could have crushed him probably fairly easily. Yeah, that's true. There were. If I'd won any one of those roll-offs, I think I was better off not risking my heroes. Although, considering, I think in past games maybe I was far too aggressive with them. Maybe I'll try and be more cautious with them from now on. But I was able to bring back a lot of models using their objectives. I was able to use that basically every turn, including yours. So I didn't really need the heroes to do any fighting.
Yeah, all you had to do was keep me from getting to your heroes, which is quite easy when you've got all these models that keep coming back. Like, that's why I was trying to destroy an entire chain rasp unit in order so they just couldn't come back, which was sort of managed.
And the glaive race as well, just being a big wall.
Neither the Lord Arcanum nor Zandria really managed to do any damage to them either, which didn't help. I suppose I could have been more cautious with the Lord Arcanum. I was sort of hoping to charge him in and use his Spirit Flasks to wound Reikenor, who was already down to 4 wounds at that point, I think, but he was just slightly too far away, and then he bounced off the glaive race and then got bogged down really and killed. But then that meant I was without Cycle of the Storm, for example, for the rest of the game, so perhaps should have been a bit more cautious with him.
Well, and I will say that considering you had 3 wizards to my 1, my spellcasting was fairly effective actually. I got some good rolls. Successfully cast Race Storm 3 times. Yeah,
and my spellcasting was okay, but it didn't have a huge impact on the game because for the most part...
I was able to keep my heroes out of the range of Race Storm, and any chain rasp you killed with it came back. And Purifying Blast is such a short range that it's...
Yeah, Spirit Storm didn't do much. Yeah, it was just killing one model at a time, which then they just came back, so it was pointless. I think I also made a mistake when I sent the Griffhounds in. I don't know why I used a command point to give them Living Blades. I probably should have used that on the Sequitors, actually. They don't have that many attacks, and they're not that effective anyway, so +1 to hit with 9 attacks is probably not worth a command point. And, well, I suppose we could talk about the Knight of Shrouds on foot.
Yeah, Spectral Overseer's pretty handy abilities. I think you combo really well with the Spirit Torment and the Guardian of Souls. If you had all 3 of them, you could give something +1 to hit and reroll 1s to hit and +1 to wound. So if you put it on something like Harridans, they're basically hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, wounding on 2s.
Yeah, and only one of those things is a command ability as well, so even in 3rd edition, you can still get all those effects at once.
Unfortunately, I think the Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed, you could probably math hammer it out, but I think getting an extra attack is going to be nearly always better than +1 to hit. Well, the benefit is that Spectral Overseer is better for large groups of units.
It's not as good when used on a single unit, but if you have multiple units that can all benefit from it.
I guess like the sort of strategy I would go for is to have like a one single really big unit and give that Lord of Geists, as opposed to having multiple small units. And the Knight of Shrouds on Steed is much faster, so you can get him around. I think that's the major benefit. And if you go by points, the one on the Steed isn't that much more expensive than the one on foot, and is very slightly tough with an extra wound, and he gets a couple of extra attacks from his horse, I suppose. But he is not a bad choice, and at least he is actually different to the other Knight of Shrouds. Yeah, and it is a choice between them.
He's also a slightly older model. He actually came out before the rest of the main
Nighthaunt. Was he not the first official Nighthaunt release? Because he came out before 2nd edition Age of Sigmar?
Yeah, he was in the Malign Portents kind of lead-up thing. He came out at the same time as the Lord Ordinator, actually. I quite like the model. He is basically the one on the Steed without the Steed. There's not really any visual difference, I don't think. He has an hourglass around his neck, which the one on the Steed has an hourglass on his scabbard instead. Anyway, I think that's it for this video, so if you enjoyed this content, then please give it a like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought about the battle, about the Knights of Shrouds, and if you have a preferred one for your style of using the Nighthaunt. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.